Getting back into the driver's seat, back able to drive a vehicle after my injury, after having done it for so long, then having it taken away was just fantastic. It was probably one of the better feelings that I've had my whole life, and I hope I never have to go without it again.
Getting back into the driver's seat after a disabling accident or illness means getting where you want to go. It means regaining more independence, more control over what you want to do.
When I'm helping a new user first learning how to load into a vehicle, the things that I try and tell them is use anything you can for balance. Also keep yourself physically fit. That makes the job a whole lot easier. And practice, lots and lots of practice.
But reclaiming that driver's seat will be both a physical and mental challenge, requiring patience and effort, thought and attention to detail.
You know, all the work that we've done the last few months, this is kind of a culmination of all of that, so that you're back in the driver's seat. Gary, if you can do it again.
Oh, no problem, Mark. And what I'd like to do is show her the hand placement for both hands is very important, so that when you do your transfer, it's nice, smooth, and you land very light. Turn around, pull your feet in, place them, and you're ready to pull your chair in and start driving.
Yeah, position your chair in there tight, lock a brake.
You will need an ability to problem solve, to implement new practiced skills, and to create original solutions to unique transfer situations. You will have to know your strengths and limitations, due not only to your particular disability, but to your general fitness level as well. Can you lift yourself and then your chair into and out of your car? And if so, how many times a day? Know your choices in chair styles. Is the frame rigid or folding? Large or small? Does the chair have features that can catch on clothes or damage upholstery? There are specific trade-offs of which you need to be aware. A rigid chair, though offering greater support and performance, may require more time or be more difficult to load than a folding chair.
To purchase equipment that you have to pick up and lift over your body is not good. When you're wearing a tuxedo or you're wearing a suit and tie going to work or going to church, and you have to pick up a wet dripping tire or a wet dripping chair and put it over your lap, you make a lot of trips back to the house to change. For me, the fold-up chair is far more convenient to operate on a day-to-day basis when you do a lot of movement. I need something that loads very quickly and simply without a lot of effort.
My chair, my rigid chair, breaks down into 3 components, of which it's all much lighter weight than a folding frame, so I can handle each one of the parts a lot easier than I could one solid mass for the folding chair. The average folding chair, I suppose, weighs somewhere around 30 plus. My rigid chair now is 18 1/4. Big difference, and then I break it down into 3 parts, the 2 wheels and the frames. And the frame, a lot easier to handle. So I can make it a lot smaller and get it in places where ordinarily I couldn't with a folding.
Be aware, too, that your technique in transferring will vary depending on a car's style, each style offering a unique challenge. A 2-door car will provide more room in which to maneuver your chair than will a 4-door car. And car size will affect the degree of incline of a transfer. Also, your choice in vehicle options, such as a power seat, a fully reclining seat back, tilt steering, low center consoles, and hand controls that allow sufficient leg room, will make the whole transfer process that much easier. And other factors, such as the cleanliness of your chair and how well dressed you are, will impact on how you choose to both transfer and then load your chair. And there is nothing like a little bad weather to encourage both transfer efficiency and speed. Finally, being aware that where you choose to park, aware of the surrounding environment and how it will affect your ability to approach and position your chair is essential. There won't always be designated parking. So you need to not only consider if there will be enough clearance for you to transfer in and out of your car, but will that clearance still be there when you return? Many parking situations, parking choices, need careful consideration and sometimes adaptive transfer techniques. You may find that your parking choice may change what is normally a level transfer to one that is more inclined, and maybe, for you, a more difficult transfer to accomplish. These questions and concerns are part of what makes each access situation unique, and just a few of the many considerations of which you need to be aware. What follows in this program are demonstrations of specific transfer skills and techniques that you can adapt to your own style, your own needs. These demonstrations will help you avoid much trial and error by combining the expertise of many experienced wheelchair users and will, it is hoped, help put you in the driver's seat.
I mean, I've always been into cars. That's been a lifelong passion, mechanical things, motorcycles, cars, Jeeps, trucks, whatever. And so getting back in and learning to drive again was pretty easy. Most people ask me, how hard is it to learn to drive and get in and out of the car, make your transfers and all that. So it was a piece of cake because I wanted to. Motivation is the key. And since I've been in a chair, you always have to learn to do things the easiest possible way. So you learn efficiency and leverage and tricks like that, and that pays off.
Freedom. Freedom. No more. Can you take me to the grocery store? Can you go get my prescription? Can you pick up this? Can you do that? Can you take me to the post office? So getting back in the driver's seat was better than when you were 16. It was better. Absolutely, no doubt about it, because you had, when you were 16 and got your driver's license, it was like, okay. But then to have that freedom and that ability and have it taken away, that's another thing. So to get it back again is like, yes, 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 yes. I love it. And I don't even like to drive.
To begin a car transfer, position your chair into the V created by the open door and the car seat, allowing enough room for you to sit, as much as possible, in front of the tire. Your wheelchair seat may be angled back, forming a pocket in which you sit. The deeper the pocket, the greater the increases in tire height relative to the surface of your seat. So move well forward before transferring. A forward position is important to maintain as it prevents continuous contact during transfers. Contact that can put you out of the driver's seat and back into the hospital bed as you recover from what can be a serious injury to your skin. In positioning your chair for a transfer, you want the chair situated at an angle that provides a clear field over which to transfer, as well as the best possible position for leverage. You want to avoid a narrow angle that will force you to transfer over the wheel, or too great an angle that will form a wide canyon that you must traverse. If your chair is so equipped, you may choose to remove the armrest and side guard nearest the car. The use of wheel locks for both security and chair stability during a transfer is an individual and situational choice. Many prefer a chair that will move during a transfer, shifting with a changing center of gravity. To position your legs to transfer, place one or both legs either on the car floor or your lead leg on the ground in a position that will allow it to easily follow you into the vehicle, as well as provide a supportive pivot point. Your outside or follow leg can remain on the foot platform holding the chair in position, or out toward the car again so that it will easily follow you in. Keeping your knees bent during the transfer is essential. A straight knee will inhibit movement or may cause you to miss your transfer altogether. Take care and avoid banging and abusing your feet and ankles against the chair, car, or ground during the transfer process, or positioning them that they become entangled in the chair during the transfer. The position of your arms in a transfer should either be with your forearm, your pushing arm, on the seat cushion behind you, under your thigh, or if using one, on the handrest. Your lead pulling and guiding hand should be on the car seat. Your object in positioning yourself and your chair is to create the most efficient movement across the smallest amount of space while avoiding any obstacle that may cause injury. To transfer, lift and lateral movement are essential. You want sufficient clearance so that your rear end comes entirely off the seat and enough lateral momentum to carry you across. You don't want to be dragging your bottom across your chair as soon as you lift off a little weight. This continuous shearing effect can cause serious skin problems and is a bad habit to start. Working out and keeping physically fit will help you to get and maintain adequate lift and clearance with your transfers. To achieve lift and lateral movement, a combination of pushing, pulling, a forward lean, body English, and a moving balance are needed. Your lead arm lifts, pulls, and guides and controls descent, while your follow arm lifts and provides lateral motion. A forward lean, body English, and balance come into play as you shift your weight and in a single motion pivot onto the car seat, maintaining a controlled descent. You are not a sack of potatoes, so don't drop onto the seat. It's a controlled approach with a gentle landing. To avoid injury, be sure the car seat is clear of any objects, and be careful not to sit on the seat belt retractor. The use of a seat cushion is recommended as protection from skin abrasions or lesions when driving, especially when driving long distances. Once seated in the passenger seat, you are ready to load your chair. You will want to create the widest possible opening into the back seat. Next, make your chair as small as possible by removing the cushion and, when possible, folding down the chair back. Now, facing the chair away from you, balance the chair on the foot platform. As you remove the wheels and then load your chair, your sitting balance, which is in part a balance against the chair, is a key issue and will be different with each individual chair and car style. Keeping balance in mind, grip the chair close to the frame center to avoid tilting the chair to one side or the other. And shifting your grip as needed, pull the chair up, over, and onto the back seat. You may choose to cover the seat to protect it from dirt and grease. As you transfer over to the driver's seat, the same care should be taken. Here as well, lift and lateral movement are important. Once again, you want to avoid shearing your bottom against the seat, the center console, and the seat belt extensions. It is also important to pay attention to the placement of your legs so as not to interfere with brake and gas controls or be too close to a heating vent that might cause burns. Unloading your chair is the same process in reverse, with the same care, considerations, and choices.
Leverage, though, using the vehicle and the chair to help with your stability is the key. For each individual, it's different, depending on the vehicle you're in and the type of car you have. What you need to do is keep experimenting until you find out the balance that works best for you and the shortest steps necessary in order to get your chair safely into the car without damaging it and to get on the road.
Never drop your body. Precise landing, absolutely important. Never drop your body. You can go as fast as you want, but once you're going to descend, do it very carefully and very assured where you're going to land. Nobody wants to go back to the hospital. We've been there too long already. So you don't want to go back to the hospital for something like a skin problem that can be easily prevented by just exercising a little precaution when you're doing your transfer.
Many wheelchair users prefer transferring into and out of the driver's side of a vehicle. Traffic is a consideration when entering on the driver's side, and care should be taken. The transfer is essentially the same. Take into consideration your leverage points, as well as the steering wheel and hand controls, especially when loading the chair. Again, tilt steering is recommended to make the job easier. Be cautioned that repeated use of the steering wheel as a leverage point may cause damage to the steering wheel.
A real no-no is a grab and hold of the steering wheel. On a tilt column, there's nylon bushings in there that wear. And on the steering wheel in my truck, I had done that for, a good 8 months. And one day when I was driving down the road, the whole steering wheel just come off in my hands. And those bushings had collapsed so bad that it just pulled right off. And no steering control, no driving control, no nothing. And it was definitely a scary moment, so.
If you don't have a reclining seat, loading a rigid chair will take much more strength, agility, balance, and practice, but it can be done. To load a folding chair after your transfer, it will be your choice by what works best in your situation as to whether your legs remain in or out of your car, or for greater leverage and loading, whether or not you need to reposition yourself more toward the center of the front seat. To load, remove the seat cushion, release the wheel locks, and fold up and position the chair to come in behind the seat. Rest the casters over the rear door sill, allowing you to reposition or to change your grip for better leverage. Don't lift your chair, but rather pull and allow it to roll up and into the car, being careful of the push handles with higher back chairs. You may need to, again, change your grip to bring the chair all the way in. And watch that you don't abuse or damage the upholstery. Reposition yourself, and you're ready to go. Another option when driving alone is to transfer into the passenger side, bringing your chair into the front seat behind you. Watch for creative solutions to problems, as each situation will be different. To transfer out, again, the whole process is reversed. Remember your leverage points and let the chair work with you by using the tire's friction to allow you to control lowering the chair to the ground. Remember to hook the casters or push handles in the footwells or keep hold of the chair. You don't want it to get away. When your transfer is on an incline, strength, coordination, timing, and practice become serious issues. With your chair positioned, place both feet onto the floorboard and, leaning forward, grip the steering wheel, seat, or roof. Then, using the chair or door for support, push and pull yourself up, over, and in. You will need to experiment and see what will work best for you and your vehicle. Transferring back out can be intimidating, as your chair might seem a good distance down. Your chair position and controlling your descent are now key in what in some cases might be termed a controlled fall. As the level of disability increases, so proportionally must patience and attention to detail. As a quad with greater physical challenges, many being unique, problem-solving and creative solutions to particular transfer situations become even more important as you adapt skills and techniques to fit your own needs. Limitations in grip, strength, and muscle spasticity will require that you allow yourself time to think through the transfer process. The issues are the same, only the solutions may differ. Positioning, balance, grip and leverage, lift and lateral movement, and control. Expect that over time it will come easier, knowing that the freedom driving allows will be just compensation for the work now required.
I know when I first did it, it was very cumbersome and very slow and very awkward. But now I'm able to get in and out relatively quickly, and it was just that one last hurdle that I needed to get over to get out there and do it. And after we got over that hurdle, it opened up a lot more possibilities for me to go do things on my own, opposed to waiting for someone else to come pick me up. You know, just a huge independence and being able to go wherever I want, when I want to go there.
The biggest hurdle for me was to find a method that worked for my abilities, and that took me about 6 months to get down and about a year to perfect, to the point where I didn't have to think about it anymore. It was an automatic motion for me.
For a quad with a greater degree of difficulty in transferring, and for many new users, a sliding board is an option that should remain a training tool to be set aside as ability and strength develop. Place one edge of the board under your lead hip and the opposite end on the car seat, allowing for enough overlap on either side to keep the board from slipping off when transferring. Again, as strength and disability allow, lift and lateral movement are important, though not always possible. The use of a chair lift and a van has become a stereotype for the disabled driver, but this should only be considered a choice and not a requirement. But if it is your choice, an automatic seat can make this transfer process a lot easier. Position both your chair and the driver's seat to allow for the greatest possible access. If transferring into a fixed chair, you may have to leverage your chair into position. Then transfer using the same caution and approach you would from the street. Another option, especially if you're a higher quad with less strength for repeated transfers, is to choose to drive from your chair.
I can't transfer. And most quadriplegics on my level cannot transfer, so you need to get a chair, power chair, that will adapt to the mechanics of being able to drive. Getting used to it is real challenging, because when I first started driving, I keep wanting to put my foot on the brake, and various, you got to erase years and years of programmed actions of driving into a whole new system. And it doesn't happen overnight. You've got to be patient, and gradually you'll get better and better and better.
There were actually a number of difficulties I had to overcome to learn how to transfer into the car. The first difficulty was overcoming people telling me I couldn't get into a sedan, and that I would have to continue using a van, that my chair wouldn't fit, and that I wouldn't have the strength to do it.
As you begin to practice and implement these skills, adapting them to your own unique situation, experimenting, improvising, as you experience the frustrations, realize the work, energy, and focus required, as you begin to broaden your sense of awareness of yourself, your chair, your vehicle, and your immediate driving world, you will also experience the satisfaction in opening yet another door, of finding something you thought lost, finding, on climbing back into the driver's seat, something more of yourself.